Total Sports Network presents a 1989 Nabisco Masters. Today's live semi-final match is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By the 1990 Peugeot 405 Sport Wagon. And by GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors. From New York City, it is the big German, Boris Becker. He's playing superlative tennis and with the confidence of a man ready to be the very best in the world. Today he takes on John McEnroe, who has been feisty and funny, but he has played with a purpose this week and is in today's semi-final match. New York City has been cold but bright and sunny this week. The world's liveliest city is sparkling with Christmas spirit. This is live from Madison Square Garden. And we are going to go to the opening national anthem.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The beautiful voice of Jodie Benson, star of Little Mermaid.
Well, Cliffy, the only time in 6 meetings that John McEnroe ever beat Boris Becker, Boris wasn't Becker yet. He was just some big German kid who hadn't won his first Wimbledon. But things have been a lot different. He's owned John, and yet some of the matches have been so close, so dramatic. When the atmosphere is there, when the time is right, when the people are for McEnroe, he can play him really close. Remember his 5-setter, a loss to Becker, Davis Cup, 1987.
Desperately to pump himself up, McEnroe. He needs really all the help he can get. Been out there so long, he's playing against a younger and presumably stronger man. Oh.
And just about a month ago at the Paris Open, packed house, plenty of people cheering for McEnroe, and this one went 3 sets as well. Still, Becker won that one.
There's a very relieved Boris Becker. It took a lot out of him to win that match. It always does, doesn't it, to beat?
So the whole point really is that Boris Becker is playing much better than John McEnroe right now. There's no question in my mind about that. But yet, and yet, if there's enough people behind McEnroe, he'll need about 18,000, I would think. He could make this close. As I say, Cliffy, Becker's playing incredible ball. He should win this one. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Mary. 2 matches today. The first one live here on ESPN. Boris Becker against John McEnroe. Then Lendl and Edberg later. We'll be back with that in a moment. The head-to-head record between the two, Becker leading it by 5-1, and as we told you, the last 5 times that they have played, Becker has been on top. The last time they played was in the Paris Open, and I hope you had a chance to see that alongside us. It was a 3-setter. It was a close match, and I still say that it takes a lot out of you to beat John McEnroe. He said about his match yesterday, said, I gave it everything I had, talking about playing against Lendl. I was going all out in the beginning. I wanted to get him angry, get him frustrated. It's interesting to see him admit that.
Yeah, nice strategy.
Yeah, which makes you think that some of the antics that he goes through are directed at his opponent. And one always wonders about that.
Well, I think he feels maybe against Lendl that once Lendl gets settled on the court and solid, that he's sort of unstoppable. So he's got to do some of these things.
Ivan Lendl's winning percentage, as you can see, just awesome. Boris Becker just below him. Then McEnroe and Stefan Edberg in 4th place. Their career records, remember this is indoors on carpet now. McEnroe has the highest percentage. It's a favorite surface of his, although I think that, well, I know that the results that he had, I wonder if you'd agree with this, Roscoe. In the main, when he got his best results on carpet, he was not out here against the big booming serve of, say, Boris Becker, for example, and I think that has hurt. Frankly, I think that his best surface now, his best chance of winning a Grand Slam, is at Wimbledon.
Well, I think one of the things that he's got to do when he plays these big power players like an Ivan Lendl or a Boris Becker is that they can attack his second serve so well. So he's got several things that he's got to do in order to be able to have a chance against these guys. And he's either got to get more first serves in, because his serve really isn't overpowering. It's based more on deception. His first serve, he moves it around quite well. His second serve, though, he doesn't move it as much. If you watch some of the points when he's getting ready to hit a second serve, the other guys already know where it's going, so there's not much deception. So he's got to either get more first serves in, or he's got to get more deception and hit a better second serve, or he better figure out a different style of play after the second serve. So he's got several choices, but really what it comes down to is his second serve has got to get better.
Interesting comment. Boris Becker, you see him the first player since McEnroe in '84 to win Wimbledon and the Open in the same year. Jodie Benson, by the way, who sang the national anthem. It was her voice that was the star of Little Mermaid. Boy, she does have a beautiful voice. This is Boris Becker and John McEnroe trying to make the final of the Nabisco Masters. At stake in this match, there is $60,000. Now, that's in addition to the, let's see, the $90,000 that Becker has won already by winning 3 $30,000 matches in the round robin, and the $60,000 that McEnroe has already pocketed by winning 2 of the round robin matches. If whoever wins this match wins the final match, that will be worth an additional $150,000. They're calling this a $3 million purse altogether because they're including the bonus pool checks that are given after this championship. That is the Nabisco bonus pool, where the players amass points all year, and if you end up number 1, for example, which Lendl is, he gets $800,000 off the top of that bonus pool, and then it goes on down from there. They are in, well, they've taken their final warm-ups.
Thank you.
Bruno Ribot, you've seen him before, sitting in the chair. It might be a hot seat today with John McEnroe on court. What do you think about that, Roscoe? Him saying that he was trying to get Lendl angry yesterday.
Well, I think he felt like he had to do something more than what he can do with a tennis ball. Against some players, I don't think he feels it's necessary. But Lendl, you've got to get him unsettled. And John felt maybe that was the way he can do it.
Will we see some of it today again?
I really don't. I don't think as much. Because I think against Becker, he feels like he's had these tight matches with him.
Yeah.
And I think he's not as intimidated by Becker as he might be by Lendl. He told me when we were sitting before the match that he's never felt anybody hit the ball as hard as Lendl was hitting it yesterday. He said it was much harder than Becker hits it, which is pretty hard to do.
Best of 3 sets. First point, McEnroe will serve to Becker.
McEnroe, of course, cannot be deceptive, Roscoe, as you said, about what his serve needs to be. He can't be unless he gets a much higher percentage of serves in than he has been, and he's got to move the ball all around the box. He's got to establish that wide serve, just as he had to do against Lendl last night. Establish the wide one and then go into the body. Make the guy guess. There's a wide one missed.
The thing that he's got to do too, though, is he's got to do that on the second serve the same as the first. He's developed much more of a pattern serve on his second serve.
Sense that this match is going to be closer than a lot of people think. Now, obviously, if I had to put money on it, I would not be putting it on John McEnroe. But the last time these two played, admittedly, Becker was out of sorts to some extent with a minor injury, but it was a very, very close match. It could have gone either way. That was the Paris Open final. 15-all. And I think there is, I asked you the question, Roscoe, about the nostalgia of the last championship. McEnroe has said that. He said, you know, this is my hometown. This is the last chance I'm going to have to play the Nabisco Masters. That is what is motivating me. $30-15.
The big thing that he said, though, so far in the tournament, he hasn't felt the intensity or the tenseness. I think he may start feeling it today. See if you see there, Mary, on that, he's hit all of his second serves to exactly the same spot so far. He hasn't moved them around at all. Now, maybe he's a little fearful of what Becker will do with his forehand to his second serve, but he's got to make Becker think of 2 or 3 spots the second serve might go. Otherwise, in the beginning, maybe it'll work out okay, but as the match progresses, it just starts becoming a real problem.
Here's some bad news from McEnroe. Becker has been keeping his opponents at a less than 60% winning rate on their own first serves. That's something, isn't it? And that's how well Becker's returning this week. Clippy, I've got to disagree with you on the closeness of this match. I've watched McEnroe. I was in Dallas when he beat Lendl. And in Paris, as McEnroe already does something rude in the first game of the match. In Paris, I also knew that how excited McEnroe was. He was in just the right mood to beat Becker, but I have not felt that from him here. But we'll have to see. Who knows?
I'll bow to that gentle disagreement.
Break point already.
Point. Yep. And then decided to leave it, which was a good idea. It was wide by about a foot. See, the tough thing for McEnroe is that he has got to hold on to serve, much more so than Becker, because Becker's serve, as you pointed out, Mary, has been awesome all week.
And so is the rest of his game. McEnroe, who relies so much on his serving to do all this talking for him, has not been good enough.
On that serve, he fooled Becker just a little bit, because Becker leaned actually out to the wide serve before he came back to try to get the backhand. And that's where Max, so far, Max's backhand volley's been the only problem that he's had. He's missed 3 of them.
Game point. Trouble in that first game. Break point against him, but McEnroe came back, and he leads it 1-0. The biggest weapon maybe of John McEnroe's is his serve. Let's take a look at some of the elements that I find interesting anyway. Take a look at this. You see how at this point in the serve he's actually facing opposite the direction where he's going to hit the ball. That's how much shoulder turn he gets. Now look at his right arm go up. Look at that ball, not too high, is it? Now he will swing his shoulder into the ball. That takes his right side out of the picture. Watch this. But he's at full stretch when he makes contact with the ball with that full shoulder rotation. That's where he gets his power from. But he's going to have to serve very well throughout this match in order to make an impression on Becker.
It's incredible how hard Becker hits that serve. Just then, he just pummeled that ball. It looked like he has almost no effort at all, like he was just guiding the ball. Ball goes a zillion miles an hour.
Lendl's had 20 aces. Those two guys are really, they're playing ball. Number 2.
Oh my goodness.
You know, the amazing thing is if you look at John, he doesn't have any clue where that ball's going because he's not even twitching and the ball's passing him. But it's as much a combination of he doesn't know where it's going to go as the speed that he hits it. He's looking for.
Look, he's trying to play it close now. He's moved into the court.
Presents a different picture for the server.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to work for him, especially not on first serve, unless it draws a first serve error like that.
It could present an entirely different picture for the server when he looks up and McEnroe's missing his 4 front teeth.
He's dead over there. But this may be a method he's using to unsettle Boris Becker a little bit. Rather than words, he's using a little bit different style of play.
I'll sign on that.
Oh. Next.
Second serve. Because when you see that guy standing in on your first serve, and you know you're renowned for having the biggest first serve around, you all of a sudden go, well, I'll show him for standing in close. And
it's an attention getter, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Game point, second game of the match.
Oh.
First double.
He's made 2 bad errors since John stood in on the first serve.
As you said, Mary said that kind of like it's like a firing squad, having had to play Lendl last night and now Becker today, because they both have got such big serves. And of course, he's the target both times. Deuce. One game all, first set.
Be interesting to see in this game. In the first game, whenever Mac missed his first serve, he stayed back on the second serve. Didn't give Boris a target to pass him with on the return like he did Lendl last night.
McEnroe still looks kind of sleepy to me. And this is not a man who's at the height of his personality early in the morning. And he didn't relish having to play Lendl last night and then whip right around and play at 12:30 the next day, especially against a guy like Becker, a guy who just needs to break you early and you've lost the match. Becker looks much more alert. Way in.
Trouble again on his serve in the first serve game. He was down in break point. This is love 30.
You're exactly right, Mary. I think John, that was a wake-up call he was trying to give himself.
Yeah.
Maybe get the crowd involved a little bit, get them on him. Maybe that'll wake him up.
McEnroe had asked that Cyclops, the electric service caller, not be used today. Ken Farrar, the tournament referee, said to him last night that he'd take that under advisement. And P.S. it's back. This could do it right here. I hate to say that the match is over, but it very well could be. A love break in only the third game of the match. I mean, how can you, if you get broken
beyond the moronic stage,
you get broken by Becker and then you have to try to break him.
That certainly puts you in a big hole.
Yeah.
Love 40. Doesn't make your day at the office, if Fred Stoller says, any easier or shorter. Fred, by the way, talking, if you missed his familiar Australian accent, he is talking to Australia today. Roscoe Tanner is with us.
John's only gotten one first serve in this game. That's just not the way he's going to be able to play against Boris Becker.
That is a breaker serve. And Boris Becker will serve when we come back, leading 2-1 first set. Chorus of Boris.
You hear that Boris chorus,
Yeah.
now that's something that's really got to depress John McEnroe, a New York boy, playing in an arena. He's seen a lot of hockey games here, a lot of Knicks games here, and yet the fans here, even when they walked out, Boris got more applause than McEnroe. And that's got to be depressing to this guy. Boris has become a favorite everywhere he goes. There are 2,000 more Germans here on the weekend. This weekend they've come in from tours. The German tours groups that follow Becker all over the place. And again, you know, if you're a New Yorker walking out and hearing cheers for a German, that's got to get you even more down.
It'll either get him down or it'll ignite him, which could be great for them. Because there's a little group of them over there with balloons and some other things. Could ignite the rest of this crowd. Be interesting. John can get himself going and hold serve, then the crowd can get involved. At this point, it's looking a little difficult.
This is the best shot McEnroe has struck all week long. Way off court, had to drill it down the line. Desperation play that lands in. And the first bit of emotion from McEnroe today. Not much, but at least it's something. At least it means he's breathing in and out.
Up 30.
Boris back in this set. He's got 3 chances now to break right back and get back on serve.
During that entire point, Mac only hit 1 ball that really was about 5 feet past the service line. And if he wants to win this match, he's going to have to keep Becker a little bit deeper in the court. He's going to have to hit the ball a lot deeper. Otherwise, he may be ahead in this game. But Becker's controlling the play, and both these guys like to control the point.
First break point for Becker, for McEnroe. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Can't do that hitting short balls, though. But he's lucky so far.
That's second serve. McEnroe wants a call. He's not going to get it on that second serve. On the line.
15-40.
Crucial points coming up. If Becker can fire his way out of this game, it'll make a big difference in the set. On the other hand, if McEnroe wins either one of the next 2, we're back even.
Easy.
Oh.
Yeah, good lob. Couldn't hit it much better than that, because he doesn't have a topspin lob off the backhand side.
McEnroe's got 1 break point left. Becker had 3 break point chances against McEnroe, made one of them. That's the thing, the difference though between most players and Becker. Becker could be down low 40 on his serve, and you're still not convinced he's going to get broken. He's still not in danger.
The thing about him too is his first serve is huge, but his second serve is not any little piece of cake. Ball bounces up over your head.
Becker only broken 4 times this week. McEnroe's got to make this one.
He's seen second serves in these break points. Another one.
Oh, what a shot. He's keeping him back. Interesting. I mean, 3 break points. Becker stayed back on each of them and still has got himself back.
It's not a bad return that Mac hits, but there's that huge forehand again. So he's got more than just 1 weapon. But the thing that really helps him is his second serve is so good that he has a free shot with his first serve. He can just drill it anywhere he wants to, because the other guys can't attack his second serve.
He wins 75% of his first serve points and almost 55 of his second.
Will make it that one. He doesn't miss overhead either. You hit a lob to either one of these boys, it's got to be a topspin lob winner, or you're looking at coming in second on the point.
Once again, would you please be quiet during the point?
4th break point.
McEnroe outthought him there. He picked exactly where that second serve was going to be and was able to chip in charge. If he's fooled a little bit, then he has to stay back. But that's the first one where he's really been able to attack it with a good, aggressive return of serve, and that turns out to be a point for him.
Just gone by a first serve.
He's got lots of second serve looks here.
Break point.
Only 45% first serves in, Becker. And he still isn't hurt.
Interesting choice there from McEnroe, isn't it? He's got another break point. He wants to come into the net, but it seems like he was just thinking too much about it. Mishit the ball, gives a free point to Becker.
If you notice on that return, though, too, he's hitting a backhand from up around his shoulder on a second serve return. Makes it tough, but he's got to do that. He's got to take his chances and try to control the point.
Deuce. I'm telling you that when this history of this match is written, they're going to remember this game.
Advantage Becker.
This is going to make a big difference. All the chances that McEnroe had, second serves that he was presented with, still couldn't convert. Game point, Becker.
Oh.
He has so much confidence, doesn't he? Can hit shots from anywhere at this point. That's what confidence does for you. 3 games to 1.
First set.
And here he's got John McEnroe very deep in the court. See how far he is behind the baseline? That means he's got to cover so much ground. That makes his ball fall short. And Becker controls the play. That's in the serving percentages. You can see Becker's first serve. There's John McEnroe trying to get himself going. You can see Becker's service percentage is down, but it doesn't hurt him so much because his second serve is so good. McEnroe's service percentage is down, but it hurts him because his second serve gets better.
Left-hander serve into the right-hander's right hip is the toughest return to make. Good play. 15 love.
All of John's second serves have been that exact same serve in the ad court. Exact same spot every time. You can't do that against a player like Becker and Lendl.
He moves his first serve around well.
He moves his first serve around very well, but he misses it often enough that he's got to develop a second serve that they can't know where it's going. Flash camera.
Last time? You just said 10 seconds ago, no flash.
There goes the serve in exactly the same spot again. Puts a lot of pressure on John. He makes a nice feel shot with it. And here it is. His quickness moving about the court just barely gets to the ball. Boris makes a great shot, but the whole court's open.
Game point. First serve fault.
Got it. 40-30.
John creates a lot of pressure on his serve by missing so many first serves. He needs to move it around, but when he knows his second serve is at such a big disadvantage, then he feels there's a lot of tenseness. You feel like you're taking a big risk by going for something on your first serve.
Which did not used to be true on his when he was at his best. Of course, what you just said was not true.
Also, though, there's very few players that really have the types of returns that Lendl and Becker do, where they drill the ball so hard at you coming back.
Ooh. He steered it wide.
Like even in the game, it's deuce. Becker leading 3-1. $60,000 at stake in this match.
Advantage McEnroe.
%35%.
Back to deuce.
Just didn't have enough on that volley. The ball was short where Becker could come in and had time to set up. He has time to set up and you're at net, you get a helpless feeling.
There's tension when McEnroe's on the court. I don't care who you are, even Boris Becker feels it. That's why those first serve percentages are so low. If he gets his nose out front here even further, that's going to change.
Third double fault, second in this game.
Advantage Becker.
It's something to see the man who used to own the best serve in men's tennis for
Point base.
years.
Thank you.
And it looks like a pop gun now. And Becker, to my mind, has got the best serve in men's tennis now.
Yeah, I think Popgun has been a little overstating the case some because he can still serve well, as you know.
Plus 7.
Remember that Dallas?
I'm just telling you what Becker makes it look like, what Lendl makes it look like.
By comparison, how about that? Break point. You know, there were histrionics from McEnroe the last time they played in Paris, and Becker's response to it afterwards, because of course they always ask him about, does it upset you? He said, no, I expect it, fully expect it, and looking for it, and it doesn't bother me. Among some of the nice things he said about Andre Agassi during the week, he also said, we need guys like McEnroe, Agassi, that cash.
Advantage McEnroe.
I think he has so much confidence in his own game that he's worried about just his concentration on his own game and knows that if he plays, Boris knows that if he plays his game the way he can play it, he doesn't have to worry about anybody. So he doesn't care what they do.
Good stretch from McEnroe, and he holds on. Becker will serve at 3-2 in the first set when we come back. What happens when you hit Boris Becker something short? Well, this is what he does. Watch this big forehand from
And this man from Germany, you see how that racket head goes up. You see how far around he is. I mean, if his name was on his back, his opponent would be able to read it now. I mean, that's how far he has turned his shoulders. Knees are slightly bent. His racket head is up. His right elbow is bent, and his left hand and arm balance the right side of his body. Now he keeps moving in. He lets the racket head drop. Look at the pendulum swing. And now he has started to open the left side of his body, so the right arm pulls the left side out of the way. He is still sideways feet-wise, though, isn't he? And his eye is on the ball. He will keep swinging through, and he has a full follow-through. Oh, it's an awesome-looking shot. What balance. Like a ballet star in a way.
It's funny, remember in the beginning of the week, Brad Gilbert, who had to play Becker first round and who had held a 4 out of 5 win record against Gilbert until this week when he lost. He was saying to John McEnroe, they were going to warm up together. McEnroe had just hit with Becker, and Gilbert said, I'm going to go my forehand and his forehand because I think his forehand is a bluff. And McEnroe smiled and said, oh yeah, it's a pretty good bluff.
Becker serving 3-2 lead first set.
If John can play that style of play on Boris's second serve, Boris can have trouble and all of a sudden feel pressure to get his first serve in. John looks like he's beginning to wake up just a little bit. And if he starts being able to attack Boris's second serve, this match can change. That was a huge game, that last game that McEnroe held. Keeps him in the set.
A huge game, the one before that, where Becker was in all kinds of trouble and held.
McEnroe has a chance again. Love 30.
Remember, he had Becker down love 40 last time Becker was up at plate, and he still didn't win.
Another second serve chance.
And 3 more break points.
John standing well inside the baseline to try to receive that second serve. And what it's doing, he's not hitting it that hard. He's just blocking the ball back. But it's getting the ball back to Boris Becker quicker. So it has the effect as if he was standing behind the baseline and really swinging hard. And it seems to be unsettling to Boris just a little bit. He's just catching the ball a little bit off.
5th chance from McEnroe to break Becker. He knows how expensive these misses are.
I think this match, to all intents and purposes, should be dead, even as you just said, Mary. 5 chances to break.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he's not going up against a man who's exactly ridden with self-doubt.
I mean, at 15-40, honestly, at this point, this game is about dead even. Becker's serving.
For example.
Yeah. And that's why.
30-40.
Yeah, now you feel like you have break point, but you feel like the game's over for Becker to win. But if he misses the first serve, anything can happen. Big hit.
Deuce.
But you can see the difference of where John McEnroe is standing to receive first serve. He's 4 or 5 feet behind the baseline, and that's not his usual place to return. He's usually up on that baseline. And then in the second serve, he moves in a lot closer, so he feels more normal on the second serve. But he's back, way back behind for him. winds up. He's on or inside the baseline.
Two 40 games in a row he's had against Becker's serve.
Advantage check.
That's what that last racket throw was all about.
He knows also that he has to take advantage. He's got to take advantage of second serves. If he can't take advantage of second serves, might as well just go on back to the locker room.
He got to love 40 twice, as we just said, so he can do some damage. That is wrong. As a matter of fact, he's done a lot more damage to Becker's serve than anybody else so far this week. But he just hasn't been able to win the ultimate point. Deuce. Oh.
The feeling that Boris was even surprised that that ball came back, because he drilled that first serve. It's just the quickness of the hands of John McEnroe that made it so it was possible to get it back at all, and it totally caught him off guard. Mac's got a chance now. He's thrown a little bit of doubt into Becker.
Break point number 8. He hasn't broken yet.
That drop shot against Becker at break point. He's not going to see a better opportunity to finally win a break point than this.
He drills a backhand. He opened up and hit it much harder than he'd been hitting the other shots. He's wide open. He had clear court. Drop shot. Here he is again. He sets up. Looks like he's trying to look like he's going to hit it hard. Then he goes for the drop shot. He just didn't need to do that, John. He had the whole thing set up.
You think he'd like that one over? Deuce. See what's worse is, from Becker's standpoint, he feels like he's been given
Advantage Becker.
game point.
First service.
So after all that, 4 break points in that game, 4 break points in the prior game that he served, Becker has come back twice and leads it by 4 games to 2.
It's a must game. It's awfully difficult sometimes to hold serve right after you've had so many chances.
I thought he looked pretty resigned just walking out on the court, McEnroe. How must he feel now?
15 all.
I think it was a smart thing to do, because I think it probably would have been close. Becker's only lost 2 matches since Edward beat him in the semi-final at the French Championships. He won, of course, Wimbledon and the US Open, among others. Lost to Gunnison in Stockholm. That's the last match he played here.
That's his second ace, and he's continuing to mix up his first serve very, very well. The few that he's getting in. Corrected his volley problem there, but if you watch Becker as he's returning serve here, he's cheating to one side or the other, and he's taking away the slice serve of McEnroe, the one that bends out to his left-hand side. So he's leaning that way a little bit, so McEnroe can catch him a few times. Not very often, but a few times if he serves to his forehand side.
Game point, yeah. It is long, the return, so Becker is still ahead in the match. When we come back, he will serve at 4-3 ahead. Becker is ahead in this match by 4-3, and he's going to serve now. But as we pointed out to you, it has been a very close thing so far. McEnroe has had 8 chances to break and hasn't been able to convert yet.
Becker this week has faced 31 break points, and he's only lost a serve 4 times. When you have a serve that big, I guess you're confident enough not to feel threatened against all those break points. It must be nice.
Well, the thing is, too, his opponents are struggling just to get the ball back. And then what happens? I mean, he just winds up and drills a forehand. It's not like your problems are over. If you can get the ball back, I don't know what you'd do. Try not to get hit, I guess.
Just missed it. Record crowd here today for the Bristol Masters. Any Masters, matter of fact, held anywhere. Over 17,000. It's a full house.
He's really mixing them up. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of power, but he served one to the forehand where McEnroe stretched a little bit. The next one's into the body. He's moving it around, which makes it even more difficult when the ball's coming as fast as it is. As soon as you lean for that one he just served down the middle, he breaks one off out wide. Makes it very tough. See that second serve put McEnroe a full stretch on his forehand. Most of them have been over the backhand, so he's moving it around effectively on the second serve. Ball's just too short. John's got to get the ball a lot deeper so that Boris can't just attack. Boris is able to stand there and take his pick of shots. If you allow him that, if you get the ball deep, then Boris really will only have 1 or 2 shots to go for. If you hit the ball short, Boris can take his pick. Left, right, center, soft, hard.
McEnroe serving to stay in the set.
Just points out what you were saying, Roscoe, how hammered McEnroe is getting on second serves.
Few whistles. McEnroe would take that call. Lob from Becker just long. Birdie love.
McEnroe just seems too sad to win this match. He does.
I don't know that I've ever seen him on the court though when he looks really happy.
Yeah, but he looks, at least he looks pumped, you know. He looks aggravated. He looks something, you know.
He does have a resigned look.
It's not enough to be crabby, you know. Honestly, you know, you've got to be feeling something. You've got to be feeling a lot more intense, and a lot more alert.
It's interesting, that drop shot is not really effective for him. And he tried it last night against Lendl a few times, his short balls. And when you give these guys a chance, even though they're big and tall, they're very, very fast. And they're running them down and taking shots at him. And the ball sits up a little too much.
Yeah, that drop shot's a low percentage play unless it's a very good drop volley. Two bad things can happen. You hit it too short, it's in the net. You hit it too long, and it presents an easy passing shot. Game point.
Cool.
It's almost like he's trying to build himself up, but he's just not finding quite a natural, whatever, enthusiasm or whatever it is for the match. It's not coming from within.
Advantage McEnroe.
He's got an ad right now. Let's see if he still goes to the backhand. Second serve.
So when we come back, it will be Boris Becker to serve for the first set.
Everyone the same.
There's a look at some of the strategy involved here on one of the last points that you just saw McEnroe serving. He serves this ball into the backhand side. Now it's a good serve. You see how wide Becker is to return this. So this puts McEnroe in a very offensive position in this point. The ball comes back. See where Becker is? He's still way out of the outer court. So McEnroe puts it into the open court with a very solid volley. At this point, he knows that Becker, once he finishes this next swing of the forehand side, has got to be out of the court because he has to move too fast. So watch McEnroe now. Watch him carefully. He is wondering which side to cover. And if you look at him at this point, he's moving to his right, which is a mistake because Becker goes down the line. He now responds. The ball has already been hit. He now responds and tries to cover it. Becker, you see, is out of court, so all he has to do is get it in play. But he chose the wrong direction to move and pays the price. Becker serving for the first set.
It's his third ace. If you notice, John still has not figured out where the ball's going to go because you know that ball's going very, very hard. If he knows where it's going to go, he can at least stick his racket out for it. So Becker is effectively mixing his serves up. See, that ball was hit just as hard as the other one was, but Mac picked where it was going to go, and so he was able to make an effective return. So it's not just the speed, it's where it's put.
Signage on the side of the court trying to track that ball down.
It's a lot of ground to cover too because there's plenty of room over on the side here. So he's running full speed and he just couldn't stop in time.
Unfortunately, that thing, when it goes over, you could blow that over. Becker 2 points from the first set now.
Okay, that's good. Put them on the TV. Make sure they're on the TV.
John wants the men that are repairing his damage over there put on TV. Practicing to be an umpire in the future. Ball was just barely wide. You see the ball, so let court goes over his racket. Now he's swung. Please go out. He sees it wide. Perfect form.
That forehand of Becker's was 2 inches away from being set point. And instead, McEnroe's got one more peek at this first set. It's staying in.
Another opportunity to break. He's had plenty of them in the set.
He's had 9. This is his 9th.
Yep. But look at that. He hasn't broken yet. but he's had more chances than Becker.
It's interesting. The crowd is getting into this match. It seems like the intensity of the crowd is still there. Maybe the intensity is just not there in John McEnroe.
No, I think he's perking up right now.
Another big one from Becker saves him.
But John's been talking about not having that tense atmosphere. Maybe it was he was a hungrier, more intense tennis player in the past, and so he noticed the intensity in the crowd. Because I'm sitting here right now, I feel there's a lot of tenseness in the air here. Becker defuses it every time with a bomb, but
set point. First set by 6 games to 4.
What can you say? This guy just can't get a break.
at that time it really wasn't McEnroe's fault too much. I mean, he gets to break point and all of a sudden he faces 3 balls that most people can't see.
The Boris chorus from the crowd of Germans that follow him almost wherever he plays, and then the boos from the local crowd who want to support the Americans.
They weren't booing Boris, they were booing the cheerleaders.
Of course.
The singers.
Oh, of course. First game, second set.
How can you do this?
No.
This is a huge game for John. He's lost the first set. If he gets down another break, he's digging himself a hole that I don't think anybody can get out of. Missing first serves is not helping his cause at all.
46%. It's his first serve percentage.
John's trying to recollect himself a little bit here. He realizes the importance of this game. The whole match, or him to have a chance in this match, can swing on this game. Sometimes when you miss a lot of first serves too, you're all of a sudden shocked that you got one in, and so you end up missing an easy volley like that. So he's missed so many first serves that he gets one in and gets an easy shot, and all of a sudden he's shocked that he's got an easy ball. Makes an error. So he's got to get himself into his rhythm and timing of his game.
Game point. First game, second set. Again, when
the statisticians and or historians look back in that first set, they'll say McEnroe had more chances than Becker to break serve, but didn't. Becker broke once. McEnroe holds on first game, second set. Becker the first by 6 games to 4. We'll be back with more live from Madison Square Garden. Becker won the first set 6-4. McEnroe leads 1 game to love in the second. Now the ATP, the Players Association, has taken control of the men's tour next year. In response, the Grand Slams, supported by the International Tennis Federation, have decided not to be a part of the ATP tour. In fact, they have backed the Grand Slam Cup. It's a $6 million event for 8 players, with $2 million going to the winner. It's become a hot topic on the tour, and we have heard all week from the tennis administrators. Now it's time to hear from the players. Mary Carrillo started with John McEnroe, and she said, with all the stuff going on in East Germany, do the players think about that? Here's what he said.
It's one of those wait and see things. You got to wait and see what happens. I mean, what the hell do we know about it? But you know, but it's good to feel like, hopefully, that's one of the suggestions that we had for the Grand Slam Cup. If this thing is really happening, let's move that to East Germany as opposed to West Germany, so that we can do something that's positive for all concerned. Because does it really make sense to have a tournament, a Masters tournament 2 weeks after our Masters in an area that's 2 hours away by car? If we were able to sort of do something different, then obviously the money and the interest is in Germany and over in Europe as of this point, more so than it is in America. But to have it that close, it just doesn't seem like the right thing. And so that's why we're hoping that some people come up with some other suggestions.
As it is now, I think it's not the right thing. I think it needs to be changed a little bit. And it is a little bit threatening to the new ATP tour because ITF is involved, and you never know what they are up to. Maybe, you know, they want to start a competing tour, which wouldn't be good for the game, because we've got the ATP Tour coming up for the first year here, and it's very, very important that we get it right here from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it's $2 million, and then the biggest tournament we have is $300,000 to win a Grand Slam. It just kind of defeats the purpose of the slams, you know. I mean, everybody plays the slams for the titles and this and that, but all of a sudden, the biggest event we have is $300,000 to win, and all of a sudden you throw in a $2 million event, it kind of makes everything out of proportion, in my opinion.
Like I see it as, you know, anyone, history of the world, I've never heard anyone say there's too much money in anything, and I think if someone's willing to put out that sum of money, I think it's a good opportunity for those 8 players, whoever get a chance to make the field. You know, it's not even guaranteed that I'm going to make it, even though I'm a top player, but I think it's kind of a bad time. 2 weeks after the Masters, our ATP finals, and the place in Germany, you know, which is only a couple hours away from the finals in Frankfurt, wherever they hold it. So those two things aren't too good, but I think as an event, I think it could be a great event.
We are back live at Madison Square Garden. Boris Becker is serving, second game, second set. He leads at 40-15. McEnroe won the first game of the second set. Becker leads it by 1 set to love. Postscript, Roscoe, on what you just heard from the other players?
Well, I think that the players are trying to start something new, trying to have their tour going, and to me it seems like just a direct attempt to try to splinter the players.
That is game to Becker. 1 game all now, second set.
1 game all.
McEnroe is, you see bottoms right of your screen, is looking at the seam here in the court. And I wonder if he's going to ask him to correct something there. You can see it there now.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit. I moved a little bit on that return.
Yeah.
The court is laid in strips, and it's put down with tape onto the surface underneath, and occasionally that can be peeled up a little bit if it's stepped on just right. And what they'd have to do is bring somebody out and to retape that particular spot right back down. It doesn't take long. here it comes. But it can be dangerous if he's moving out that direction and hooks his foot underneath that.
Oh, yeah. No, he's quite right to ask for it to be put down. And as you said, it's not that difficult a job. There you go. There's the technician.
McEnroe has explained to some friends of his is that he moved about 2 inches on that return, and that's what popped up the seam.
Mary, he's done a lot of that this week, more than I've ever seen from him. Talking to
kind of chatty. Here's his parents, his brother Mark.
Dad and Mom. John and Kay. He's a lawyer. In New York City. First point, third game.
The effectiveness of John's serve throughout his history has been his volley behind it. And when he gets into net so fast behind his serve, and so if he can get used to where you can't make an aggressive return, then he can make a tremendous volley behind it, and that's the effectiveness of his serving game.
Yeah, but Roscoe, guys never used to return his serve that big. And not only that, but he used to be able to swing them out wide when wooden tennis existed, wooden racket tennis existed. And, you know, they'd be off the court trying to return something, return his stuff, and he'd be sitting all over the net. That's just not the case anymore with big guys and big rackets.
Yeah, I think Connors probably used to be able to return all right.
Oh, yeah. But what I'm saying is that McEnroe's serve, his lefty serve, you know, the genius of it is that he would pull the guys all over the place.
He would. He has tremendous amount of deception with his serve. But I think the biggest thing about his serve, because when I faced him, you know, the thing that scared you so much was not just getting his serve back, but the volley that was behind it.
But see, he's robbed of time. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, he used to be able to close and handle that first volley. I mean, at that point, he would be in control of the point. Against Becker, against Ivan Lendl, that's just not the case.
Matter of fact, you're both exactly right there. His serve effectiveness has definitely declined, and if he got that back, he would be very close to as good as he was when he was the best player in the world. We talked about it, by the way. Like his history, he's the #4 player in the world still, and he has anybody except Becker and Edberg and Lendl against him, and he can still take care of it.
And his first serve, what happens is the percentage has dropped so that people are getting to attack his second serve. They're getting to see it so much that they can attack it. If you don't see it very often, it's still pretty deceptive, but he served, in this set, he served every one of his second serves in the same place. And when you do that, and you're having to hit a lot of them, then it begins to hurt. If you're not having to hit very many of them, it doesn't hurt so bad. See,
that's why.
He's hitting so many balls to Becker's backhand. Becker now knows exactly where that serve's going to hit. And even in the deuce court, he's running around it hitting forehands. So he's not even worrying about the wide serve in the deuce court as a second serve anymore. He's taking everything.
He's not worrying about anything. It has not even occurred to Becker that he might lose this match.
Dangerous story here for McEnroe. This is break point.
If you look, Becker's already got his racket back in the backhand position almost before McEnroe hits the ball.
That is tough tennis from Boris Becker. There's not a heck of a lot you can do about that, even if you do anticipate where he's going in the passing shot. 2 games to 1 for Becker and 1 set to love. We'll be back. John McEnroe during the changeover. He took these pictures for you. He's not a happy man. He was not happy about that, losing that last game. As you can tell, it was certainly the last point anyway was not his fault. Superlative play from Boris Becker. What a poignant picture. Becker leading by 2 games to 1 and 1 set to love.
John knows the significance of holding his serve against a player like Becker. It's just if you don't hold serve every time, you're fried. And he's basically in that position right now of having to break this guy who no one else has been able to do it. He's got to break this guy or he's out. And really, probably the only way he can break him, like you were saying in the beginning, is if he gets a lot of help from Becker.
Right.
Becker's got to let his concentration slip and make errors.
He's not cooperating at all.
No, he's not playing fair.
I'm not sure about that if you consider that he's given him 9 breakpoint opportunities so far. I tell you, this match has been a lot closer than the score would have you believe. When lost, McEnroe had 9 breakpoints against anybody in the set and didn't convert one. Becker only broke him once. 15 love 15.
15 all.
That's wide.
Becker's doing it a little bit the same way. It's different, totally different style of game, but Boris used to do that. He used to make errors in the unimportant points and give you chances. And then all of a sudden, when it became a chance we could break serve or win a game, he clamped down and didn't make mistakes. That's the way Becker's played it so far a little bit here. He's given John chances, but he's closed them off when they're there.
Jan Tiriac, Becker's manager, talks about that. He says for the 15 minutes it takes to win the match, Becker plays his best tennis.
Yeah.
15, 5 minutes could come in the first set, or perhaps all 15 come in the final set. That's when he comes on.
That is a double fault. The first serve was called wide. It was very close. Bruno Ribot actually thought it was good, but then his lines person told him that I called it wide. So when all is said and done, another 2 break points for McEnroe to get back even. Remember, he was down 2-1, exactly the same position in the first set. Had love 40 in that game on Becker. Now he has 15 points.
Here's number 10.
Yeah, all 3 points have been Becker errors.
Becker doesn't like that one either. Look at that. 2 out of 5. None out of 9.
He got that one. McEnroe with his arms in the air says, I finally, on my 10th shot, get the break. It's 2 games all in the second set. John Senior clapping. And Becker went up to Bruno Ribot and had a word with him. He felt that he was badly done by twice on serve. Both down the same middle line.
2 games all.
The Boris chorus and the boos for the folks who are making the noise. Thing to break back for John. The other thing for him is his own serve. Match update. First serve percentages. You see, I knew they'd get better, and of course they did. Your percentages of the winners of Becker, I mean, 25 against 14 unforced errors. Now McEnroe he's ready to serve the next point. He thinks it's 15-all. The question is for Bruno Rebot whether the call affected Becker's opportunity to return. He has decided that it didn't, so it is McEnroe's point.
And after nearly an hour and a half of play, we spoke earlier about how McEnroe needed the right atmosphere for this match. He's finally created it right here.
Just to clarify, if there's a corrective call like that, the guy behind you calls out and then realizes he made a mistake, corrects the call. That is then the umpire's decision whether the call affected your opportunity to get the ball back.
Quiet, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
It went in McEnroe's favor, 30-15 now.
John's beginning to get a little bit more fired up.
Yeah, he just cursed right into the carpet. We need a little carpet cleaning right there. But he does it. He tries to do it whenever he has the resources, whenever he's pulled together enough to scream during applause.
McEnroe has game point.
It was all McEnroe could do to kill the speed of the return of serve of Becker's in that one. He had to jump. That became a very acrobatic first volley of McEnroe's just to keep him in the point. And it drew the error from Becker. Control that one. Too much MPH.
Becker's hit a good return and makes McEnroe just half volley it. When you half volley it, you can't get enough pace on the ball to not allow Becker to drill it. You see that ball? He catches it. It's hit so hard that he's not able to get it on the strings.
McEnroe was still sort of looking ahead as the ball threw his racket back. You see that? He's behind him already.
Oh, yeah. What wonderful touch he has on the volleys.
That's what he does. He doesn't do it so much with power, but it's with misdirection. Becker was taking a step to try to cover the open court because there's a tremendous amount of open court after that great serve.
Yeah, but this guy's power can puncture that precision. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Still, game point. We got it.
And McEnroe has come back in the second set. It is 3-2. He has his nose out front for the first time today. McEnroe's ahead for the first time in a set, 3-2. Becker won the first by 6-4. Their first serve percentages in set number 1, you see Becker at 57. If you remember when we showed it to you early in the set, he was under 50%. McEnroe started out at 45%. He's improved his serve percentages dramatically, as you can see, and Becker is going in the opposite direction. And I suggest that will change.
It's really unfair to say that McEnroe's up in this set. I mean, let's keep this in mind. They're still on serve.
Oh, yeah.
That's the style that John's got to play if he's got a chance here. And this is one of the first games where he feels like, all right, now I'm on even footing. I get a chance to play. You know, not just to save his life, but the chance to really get out in front. Winning that first point of that game is huge. It's another second serve.
Trying to do the same thing he did on the first point, but he just got it over the line. I find it interesting that we talk about John McEnroe now in terms of being a placement player and a precision player, like he's not an aggressive player, which of course he is. When he first started to play, it was all certain volley, and still is that way. But it's only relatively speaking that he's precision and placement. Because he's playing against Boom Boom Becker and a big game of Lendl, and when you put him next to those two, everything is relative.
Well, also, he uses his power that he does have in misdirection, in keeping the ball where you're not thinking it's going to go. Deception.
That's a great shot.
There's a type of point that's really John McEnroe passing shot. You see, he gets the racket back and he holds it. Watch when he comes over to hit the backhand, how long he has that racket back and ready to hit the ball. Then he holds it, now goes. You see Becker even takes a step the other direction. See how long he's waiting back there? Now he swings through. He waits though. Becker's already gone to cover the wide side of the court.
30-all. Terrific. And he can't get there. Let's hear. I mean, the way he throws himself about. Bruno Rabot. Becker went up to him and said something to him.
He lost that point, you know, Boris Becker. He touched the net.
That's why he talked to him then.
Skippy Ings out on the net.
But this is break point.
Call that one on Becker. Number 5.
That explains it.
Yeah, his foot touched the net.
Gets down break point and comes up with 2 great first serves. That last one wasn't necessarily hit so hard, but it was placed so well.
It's a great equalizer, as Ivan Lendl said of Boris Becker's serve at the U.S. Open final. And they get into a tiebreaker, and this guy just starts banging away. He says it becomes a shootout. That's what Lendl said. He said it just becomes a shootout for him.
So much ground you have to cover when he breaks that one off wide.
McEnroe's still in this game. Remember, last time Becker served, he broke him. And he's already had a break point here.
Yeah, this time he gets the racket back. And remember, last time he put that down the line, so Becker hangs a little bit to cover that down the line, pulls it cross court. He gets that racket back, holds it. It's very, very deceptive. Then you kind of lean one way or the other, and he goes the other. So he keeps you confused.
Short.
See the shot. John's running way widely just to get to this ball. Barely gets it back. He's running full tilt, but just can't get there. It's a little bit too short. Too good a shot from Boris Becker. That's a good time to try a drop shot when you've got the guy way, way back and out of the court. It's not such a good time if McEnroe had been up close.
So Becker does finally hold on as you see the Boris chorus.
Part of them anyway. There are a lot more than just the head group of top hat wearers from Germany. 3 games all, second set. Becker won the first 6 games to 4.
Point, please. Love 15.
Mac is continuing to be in trouble on his serve. He's got to keep making those volleys.
Love 30.
Tremendous chance there for Boris Becker. He had the ball right where he wanted it. Just played it a little bit too fine. Sometimes when John closes in on the net so fast that you sometimes second think your shot. And it looked like Boris' second thought at that time. He wanted to go one place and thought, oh, I'll show him. I'll do a little trick shot. Missed. Happens to everybody.
15-30.
Oh, it was a lot closer than John thought it was going to be. Guarantee you, he had the ball going way out. It just barely passed the baseline.
Back even in this game, and we are at 3 games all in the set.
John better be ready on his volley this time. It's a good prime time for Becker to run around and nail a forehand. John finally mixed up his serve. He served one out to the forehand, and Becker did not drill it. Just got it back, but he got it back low. John was a little bit tentative there on his first volley and took it into probably the most difficult spot he could. He tried to volley it. He wanted to get it out of the air. He'd have been better off to hold back, let the ball bounce, and come back up, and then he could have made an easier shot.
Things coming at you at 135 miles an hour and dipping. This is break point again. Serve.
John hit a backhand in that point, I think, as hard as he's ever hit a backhand in his life. Ripped that ball with everything he had, put it in. I think he was shocked to see it come back. It did come back. Becker barely misses this ball. Thought he had it. Oh, disgusted with himself.
Deuce. McEnroe holds on, so he is still ahead in this match. 4-3. He lost the first set. We'll be back in a moment. This is what happened last time to give John McEnroe a break point on Becker's serve. You'll see him serve and then come into the net. And this fooled me because I never saw what the umpire saw at this point. You see, he dives for this one to get it back. He hits a drop shot that would have been unreturnable, but right there his foot touches that pole that holds the net up, and that is illegal. If you touch the net in any way, any part of your body or racket touches the net, you lose the point. So continue the point now. Let's see the rest of it. He gets up. McEnroe cannot get to the ball. They call the point against him. It is break point for McEnroe. Of course, Becker, you see now, starts to look at the umpire. He's not real happy about the call, but it is a very legitimate call. So remember that if your opponent and you play him back out there later today and he hits the net, say, love 15.
If that ball had bounced twice before he touched the net, it would have been okay.
Precisely. Becker serving, trailing 3-4, second set.
Becker didn't go for either one of the fakes on that ball. John had the racket back, held it for the longest amount of time. Becker held his position, did not lean either way, did not lean forwards, backwards, any direction at all. And as a result, even if that ball had gone over, Becker was right there.
Oh, no. On the line. But he's not going to get him overruled.
There's no way they can overrule unless it's clear cut. Ball on the line in that particular angle, the umpire cannot see it.
Third double fall for Becker.
Except that wasn't a double, but it'll go down in the record books as one.
See, the ball lands directly on the line.
No, there's no doubt about it. Normally our replay is not going to be able to make those decisions, but it was clearly good. 15-1. Frustration of John McEnroe. Becker picked where he was going to go on the crossing shot. Hit a drop volley.
You know, that shot appeared to be open for John McEnroe to hit a passing shot, but it was almost like Becker was hanging back, leaving that shot open, baiting him to go down that spot. Because he loves to reach out for that racket. He's got so far to cover the forehand volley. He can even go farther than that. He can dive if he wants to. Oh!
Double fault. Back even in this game.
Second in this game. There's no
different mistakes, but you see here's what he's been doing. He's so good. 8 forehand winners, 4 at the backhand, 6 at the net.
Very balanced.
12 winners.
Yeah, it's a balanced attack. But 2 double faults. He got hooked on that first one, but that second double fault, that was legit. 30 all.
This is huge. He's got to recollect his concentration. I think that first bad call has bothered him a little bit all the way through this. One way to regain your concentration quickly.
You know, he has the concentration of a champion. There's kind of a call like the one he got there in the second point of this game.
would really get to a lot of players, understandably.
It's not. I think I agree with you, Clifford, but it's more than concentration. He's got the temperament. He's just got the perfect temperament for this game.
Not sure that he doesn't have the perfect temperament for any game. He's a very well put together young man. What the surprise really, because he did not lead a normal late teenage life.
Boris' second serve has become increasingly less effective as the match has progressed because John McEnroe is beginning to read it better and has been able to attack a little bit more. McEnroe's gaining a little bit of confidence, but every time he starts to gain a little confidence, confidence is squashed by a huge first serve.
It's deuce. If McEnroe can break, he'll serve for the set.
I mean, this is the first serve. John will stand on the line, and his first move to return serve is forward. Wants to attack.
So is Becker's move forward in spite of that forward move you talked about,
Roscoe, and the volley perfectly pinpoint placed.
It was a very, very deep, solid second serve. Made it so John couldn't get the return that he wanted to get. Got it up a little high, and Becker made a great volley.
He has been broken once in the match. He had a set and a break. McEnroe came back and broke Becker. We are even in the second set, 4 games all.
This is the time in the match when Becker usually raises his game. You were saying that
Yep.
the 15 minutes that Tyriak says the match counts. Here's where it starts to come about.
It's wide, love 15.
If you just joined us, you are watching the Nabisco Masters semi-final, first match of today's program. I'm Cliff Drysdale along with Mary Carrillo. Roscoe Tanner has joined us. Red Stolle is talking to his family down in Australia. And others.
Boris Becker won the first set 6-4. We're 4 games all in the second. And it's 15 all.
That was a tremendous second serve from John McEnroe, just in a perfect time to do it, because Becker likes to be able to reach and swing for the ball, and he jammed him into the body just as Becker was trying to get aggressive.
Fred is covering these final 2 days for Channel 9 down there.
Oh, I thought you meant he was on the phone back to his family there, Cliff. I'm glad you cleared that up for us.
Well, I'm glad I did for you too.
When McEnroe was getting thrashed around the court last night against Ivan Lendl, he said at a certain point in the match when he realized Ivan wasn't going to back off any, he, in a way, I mean, he stopped chasing down the tough shots and stretching for the big volleys, knowing that having already qualified for the semis, he needed everything he had against Becker today. Well, this is it. It's 4-all in the second set. He's dropped the first.
And it's 15-30 in this game. Big serve into the forehand side. McEnroe's greatest serving quality on the first serve, to me, has always been his ability to move it around, forehand to backhand. In fact, he had the best left-handed serve into the forehand of any player that I ever played against, including my buddy Roscoe Tanner, who had a great one himself. But Becker has break point again.
30-40.
Backhand.
If Becker wins this point, they will change sides and he'll serve for a place in the final again of this Nabisco Masters. He's the holder here. There's $60,000 at stake in this match. Called wide.
You were talking about his ability to move the serve around in the ad court in this game so far. He's served once to each spot. Once into the body of the forehand, once down the center of the court, and once out wide. That one just missed, but that shows the variety of his serve.
Got it. And so did McEnroe. In any case, Becker hit the net again. The point was over before McEnroe had to make the volley. Watch. Watch Becker. He runs into it again here.
This has become a great tactic against Boris Becker. Get his big feet to hit the net. Is that what's happening here? I love this plan. I love everything about it. There they are. I don't know if you could just keep doing that throughout a match, though.
It's 100%.
It's true. He's 2 for 2 on it today, McEnroe.
How are you going to beat Becker? I'm going to make him get into the net and have his big feet hit the net.
I love this plan.
Deuce.
Advantage Becker.
Another break point for Becker. 2 of 7. And McEnroe's had that many more chances than Becker to break and just hasn't converted on the big points.
Remember, Becker in that 6-4 win in the first set broke McEnroe only once.
That's the way John McEnroe used to do it. He raises his game, and on the big points, he always used to get that first serve in and makes it so he can make that first volley. That time he did. The only other spot that he has not hit the ball in this game, and that was to drive it into the body on the backhand side of Becker. So he's mixing his first serve up at least.
Another break point.
That ball was not that far away from John McEnroe. It was just hit so hard, I don't think he even saw it. Watch this. He takes the racket back. Wham! John didn't even have a chance to hardly twitch for that ball.
I've never seen a backhand hit that hard before, ever.
I don't think John saw much of it.
That's just a career backhand.
What a time to do it, too. 4-all.
It says everything about Boris Becker as a champion to hit that kind of a shot at that moment.
Becker has broken. When we come back, he'll serve for this match. He won the first set 6-4 and leads it 5-4 in the second. Give you another look at the biggest hit of this match so far in the last game. McEnroe served into the backhand side. Now Becker goes down back pretty much toward the middle. A volley. Routine point up to this point virtually, isn't it? But now keep your eye here on Boris Becker. He has made his full shoulder turn. McEnroe, on the other hand, starts to close the gap in case he's thinking about going down the line. Look at him. He's moving to cover the backhand down the line. At this point, even after Becker, though, has made his shot, look at McEnroe still moving to cover. Now he realizes that Becker has gone cross court. He tries to recover, but he's way too late. Add to that the fact that Becker hit the hardest shot of the match and he had no chance. Becker serving for the match at 5 games to 4 on the first 6-4. He has been broken, but only once in this match. Becker has been broken 5 times, including that game. In this match, throughout the whole series of matches, this is his 4th match here at the Nabisco Masters.
Got to make use of every opportunity he has right now. Because when the first serve goes in, things are very difficult. But he is beginning to play. Has to. That's his last spot, but he's beginning to play a little bit more aggressive, taking his chances, running in, which doesn't allow Boris the time to set up quite as long. He's playing up a little bit closer to the line. Now he's edging back. Doesn't matter much where you stand when somebody hits that serve. You can be standing over there right in front of it. The only thing that happens then is you get hurt. That is his 6th ace. He keeps hitting those serves, and he knows it too. When he's standing up there getting ready to serve, he knows that this is a free shot for him because his second serve's so effective. Why not go for the line? And he takes it, and he knows that if he hits it there, it's like Reggie Jackson hitting a home run. When he's hit it solid, he doesn't have to do anything. He just goes around and gets another ball from the ball boy.
Point, please. Point, please. Thank you.
Match point. He has another one in his pocket if he doesn't make this one.
No flash, thank you.
Boris knows it's all on the line right here. It's not a tremendous amount of pressure on him because he knows that he's still serving for a match, but he wants it right here. It'll be interesting to see if he goes for the ace on the first serve. It's interesting, John McEnroe standing on the court. Over on the side, they have already put up the walkways for the players to leave the court. And here the match is still going on.
And Mary Carilla, by the way, started to head down also for the interview room in anticipation of this match ending and a chance to talk to the winner.
Point, please. Thank you.
Deuce.
He's been successful with the ace up the middle. Last point, he went for the ace out wide. He's due for another shot at the middle.
And you know he's going to go for the ace. You're not going to ask that question again, are you?
No, I won't ask it anymore.
Third match point. It's long. Becker's hand was in the air for a moment in a salute to his own achievement. Getting to the finals to try to defend his title here at the Nabisco Masters in Madison Square Garden. A year ago, Sunday, he beat Lendl in 5 enthralling sets. We'll be back with more live action and an interview in a moment.